Welcome to the World Championship Series, everybody. This is the last day of the Premier League. Thank you for a massive turnout here in the Cologne, Germany studios. We apologize as here at ESL for the 45-minute delay, but we're going live no matter what. The problem that we ran into is that we have no graphical assets for today's show, but we don't care, it's esports. We're going to continue on anyway. So, my name is Apollo. I'm happy to be here, everybody. Joining me is Pig, to my left-hand side, and of course, Rotterdam. Good to have you with us as always, gentlemen. Roddy, it's going to be a fun last day.
Well, this day was already going to be fun, but now I have the idea that we're going to make it a little extra fun. But yeah, we're just going to make the best of it, but it's still going to be damn awesome.
One last day here in Europe before you travel back to Australia. One final group for you today, Pig.
And what a day to finish it on. Jaedong, the three powerful Protoss players, GunGFuBanDa, the German player. It's going to be a great, great night.
It's going to be a fun night. Over the last couple of weeks here, we started in the round of 32 in Burbank, California with 32 players. We've eliminated it down to just 14 players that will play in Toronto, Canada. Tonight, we will have 2 more players that will go through to play at the season finals. Let's talk about tonight's group then. We have Jaedong and the Protoss players. I know a lot of you are big fans, of course. Jaedong begins his 2015 WCS career tonight. It's his first game within the World Championship Series, and a big group and an interesting night, Roddy.
This is the group that, and the moment the group drawing was made, everyone's like, oh, that group is good. And then you saw a group, okay, how is this going to unfold? You see Jaedong, you see Haas, oh, I remember that game. Then you see Elfie, you're like, oh, God. And you know, the completes it out with GunGFuBanDa. It's going to be ridiculous, I think. I think we're just going to laugh a lot. We're obviously going to see a lot of high-level plays as well. And it's basically Jaedong is Neo of the Matrix tonight. Like, he's going to dodge bullets left and right, and we're just going to watch it.
So from a Zo perspective, I mean, let's talk a little bit about Jaedong dodging Protoss bullets tonight, Pig.
That's his task, you know. This is a nightmare for some Zerg players. Jaedong, maybe, you know, he's such a confident guy. Maybe he's happy about it. We've got 3 Protoss players. You know, they're already the scariest race, but these guys have crazy styles. They have no fear. These are the guys who you do not want to be trapped fighting them in a phone booth because they don't care how much they're getting hit. They're going to hit you twice as hard.
All right, thank you very much. Before we continue talking about this, we do have videos still, so let's hear a little bit more about the players tonight.
Group H is the most explosive group of the entire round of 32. Both Haas and Elfie, 2 players who share very similar playstyles, will join together in one group to fight against Jaedong and GunGFuBanDa. Jaedong begins his WCS circuit for 2015 with his recent move to reside in San Francisco. Committing full time to success in the WCS, he must protect himself against the great book of Protoss in order to advance. GunGFuBanDa has been climbing the ranks in national competition in Germany. Tonight he debuts in WCS for an attempt at victory in the international scene. One of the closest groups this season is about to unfold.
Group H of the World Championship Series in the round of 32 now moments away from beginning. 4 players now with 2 positions available. Unfortunately, 2 players will be eliminated tonight. Let's talk a little bit about tonight's group then. We've got Jaedong, we've already mentioned a little bit, dodging bullets left and right, but 3 Protoss players. You know, Elfie hasn't been in the Premier League since June of 2013. Haas has made his name as the villain within the World Championship Series by eliminating fan favorites over the last couple of seasons. And then, of course, we have GunGFuBanDa, the second German player to attempt his run in the top 16 to try and get to the season finals.
And I think we know who the crowd's cheering for right now. Jaedong, of course, coming in as the strong favorite here, the experienced veteran. But we have to remember, it's been a while since he's been at the very, very top of the game. His peak in his career, having a cheeky smile there, it was back in 2013. It was really when Jaedong showed that he was at the very top of the world, taking second place in BlizzCon. These other players have had some varying degrees of success, especially Elfie in 2011, coming second in an IEM tournament. But he's been, you know, not quite at that same level. And I think he's still a very dangerous opponent. GunGFuBanDa, though, I see as this underdog player, but he's coming in and he's showing amazing results and he's so confident. He's the player I've got my eye on for a potential first or second place.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit more about the German player here, Roddy. He's starting to climb slowly the European scene. He's in the last couple of German national competition within the ESL Meisterschaft, as we like to call it here. He's got 2 top 4 finishes. He's made it into the Premier League for the first time. Where do you put him on the European scale?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of good runs, but he's also had an amazing run at the Fragbite Masters, where he was almost able to defeat MMA in a best of 7. Now, how many foreign Protosses will even get to Game 7 against MMA? Like, that was a remarkable result. And ever since then, he's just been looking really good. And of course, you know, that challenger, that was probably the most anticipated challenger match of this season, GunGFuBanDa against Naniwa. Well, how was it gonna go? He won 3-0, he won decisively. He didn't really use any, like, wanky builds or anything like, no, it was pretty solid play. Maybe the Expedition last game he made some void race, but on a smaller map it looks small. Like, it's crazy to think, but out of the 3 Protoss players, he probably has the most legit PvP style, and that's why he kind of got to love his odds in this group.
Yeah, definitely a player to keep your eyes on this evening. But the first match is not going to be Jaedong. I know if you want to see him, he's going to be playing a little bit later on, but it is going to be GunGFuBanDa going up against Haas here on stage. What do you think about this, Roddy?
I think it's going to be fun. Like, yesterday was the very first time I ever met Haas. I met him in the lobby. I was like, hey, I'm Rotterdam. He's like, sorry, I don't speak English. I was like, okay. I was like, but then you still try again, right? You're like, excited? He's like, yes. I was like, PvP? He's like, yeah. I was like, proxy? He's like, yeah. So, I mean, like, he might just say that, but it's fun because you go into this series, and if he proxies, then it's not very surprising, but at the same time, it's still surprising because it's a proxy. But if he doesn't proxy, then you're also like, okay, so what is he going to do? That's already surprising. So it doesn't really matter how he's going to play in this best of 3. Like, it's very, very difficult to predict. And I really wonder what's going through his mind going up against such a random Protoss player as Haas.
I know, we had a lot of fun with Haas last season for sure. Pig, how many oracles are we going to see today?
I think it's going to be between 3 and 6.
3 and 6, that's it?
Yeah, those are the ones from Proxy Stargate.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, okay. But the Proxy Stargates we're going to see a lot of today as well. This is definitely lining up to be one of the most fun groups that we've had in the round of 32. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is still a very serious matter. As much as it is fun, it is very serious, as the position to go to play at the season finals is such, you know, something to strive for as a competitive and professional player. This is one of the biggest StarCraft, or lining up to be one of the biggest StarCraft II tournaments we've had in a long time.
No, absolutely. I think everyone wants to make it. And you look at this group, Jaedong is, of course, the favorite on paper, and Jaedong won't be satisfied with anything else than going to Toronto. First or second, he probably doesn't care too much about that, as long as he makes it. But the 3 Protoss players, they look at this group, and it's like, it's PvP. Like, some Protoss players actually say they don't mind it that much. Some Protoss players hate it. But you know, as long as it's PvP, everybody at least has a very high understanding of the matchup. So it comes down to execution, and any one of these players, they can win 2 best of 3s on any given day against each other, you know?
Well, graphics are slowly coming back. They're slowly I think I saw one.
I think they just tried to make me German, right? I saw a German flag next to me. I was like, not yet, guys. I've lived here in a while. But, you know, as they look at this group, they can all advance.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys, for your thoughts. It's time to head to our first match of the evening. Your commentary team is going to be Kalaris and Todd.
All right, guys, it's time to get the final group of the round of 32 out of the way. Wax Angel called it the Hass of Pain. Others have called it Kyolaris' Curse. Let's see what comes true as we start things off with GunGFuBanDa going up against Hass. And I'm expecting an interesting series, and that's exactly how I'm going to phrase it.
Yeah, I think interesting's the word.
Yes.
Already looking at the maps, you know, I feel like if 2 players that think, you know, that they can just play standard and outplay their opponent were to face each other in the PvP here, they'd play, you know, Vanny, Echo, and Coda. But here the map order is actually Iron Fortress, Echo, and Expedition Lost.
Oh, right, okay.
Already I'm picturing, you know, Dark Shrines being made on the map, Proxy Stargates. All of that here is going to be very possible, especially from Haas. I don't think that GunGFu is going to want to be playing cheesy or, you know, proxy too much stuff in comparison. GunGFu is someone, you know, that likes to play a little bit more solid. He told me earlier that he thinks his PvP is his best matchup. He had a great performance against Naniwa, 3-0ing him. And he just seemed quite confident for somebody who's about to play against Haas. And sometimes it's been a thing that has backfired.
Oh, Haas. Yep, he's back. He is back. There is a lot of Taiwanese fans in the audience, as Haas made himself quite the fan favorite back in Season 1. And the countdown has begun for game number 1 here in this Protoss versus Protoss. What a crazy group we have here to really round things off in the round of 32. Absolutely insane.
I feel like this group's similar to yesterday's group in terms of being very open as to who might advance.
Yes. I think so as well. Anybody can really make it out of here, especially with Jaedong's past results against 1 or 2 of these players, as we will be getting into this very, very soon. I hope you guys are going to enjoy today's group here in Germany, as I'm looking forward to it as well. So, who do you think, Todd? Who do you think? GunGFuBanDa, Haas?
I lean towards GunGFuBanDa, man. We're in Germany. We saw how well TLO played here in front of that crowd. So maybe again.
All right, well, let's get into it. Spawning down at the bottom left-hand corner, it is our red Protoss. He comes from Germany, representing Planet Key Dynamics. It's GunGFuBanDa. And up to the left-hand side, or top left even, I should say, as our blue Protoss representing Yowie Flash Wolves, it's Haas.
He scared me for a second. I thought his probe was going to go out and move on the map. But no. Not that late. You either send it directly, or I guess much later, not at this point when you're about to make your first pylon. So GunGFuBanDa is somebody who played really, really well against Naniwa, using a lot of Stargates. Basically in every single game, there was a Stargate in there early on, and he adjusted very well. It's actually, I think, very, very hard to do a Stargate opener and know how to react to everything perfectly, because it's PvP. I mean, you don't have that much information at times, and you need to, kind of guess, judge where you're at in the game.
Yeah.
And then sometimes make the right call, or you're either, gonna die or win the game right out, depending on how it goes. But a lot of the time, it's gonna be die if you react wrong. So he's done a fantastic job back then in his match against Naniwa to just react to everything that was being made. But Naniwa not quite as cheesy as Has. Playing as this guy here, you need some next level anticipation and scouting to be able to react properly to what he does, because he always mixes it up very well.
Yeah, if one proxy doesn't work for Haas, sometimes you'll see another proxy after that. And then, well, maybe 3 is quite going a little bit too far, but you do never know. He's actually going in between these bases with that first probe. Okay, no, he was actually...
It's proxy Stargate for Haas, by the way, already, so this
is like the probability build of, I'm just going to go down here, I don't care where you are. Hopefully you're down in one of these bottom 2 locations, and it can work out really nicely.
It's 2 chances out of 3 that his opponent's going to be down there, so can do... that can do wonders for him if his opponent's down there and does a little bit of a greedier build, Say, for example, if GunGFuBanDa was to delay his Mothership Core a little bit, to get something like a Sentry first, that's really, really bad against an Oracle. And yes, we're going to see an Oracle, obviously, from Has here. You don't proxy Stargate like this with Phoenixes. Then again, Has, in the past, has done stuff that we didn't really understand.
The way Haas's pylons lined up, he's faking out, right?
Yeah.
Because he has 2 in the main base.
Yes. But I think...
Which he doesn't necessarily need right now, of course.
Yeah, GunGFuBanDa might be able to pick up on the fact that there is no warp gate started from the Cybercore. He stayed in there up until the 4th minute. And warp gate hadn't started yet, so he might be able to, kind of realize something's up. And I mean, when you play Has, something's always going to be up.
We know. Everyone knows. It's just a case of what is it going to be. Didn't actually scout out his opponent down here, despite actually going into the base. So this is going to throw Haas off a little bit once he does make that first unit.
I'm a little bit worried for GunGFu. I think he knows. He wants to go for, a pretty quick blink.
Oh, Mothership Core.
The thing is, he delayed his first Stalker, I think, to get a very quick Twilight Council and start Blink. Against a fast Oracle like this, you don't really need to rush Blink nearly as much. It's more about, getting 2 to 3 Stalkers out to make sure you can defend well. And then later on, you can counterattack with a later Blink. But right now, GunGFu, I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped down 1 more gate and then went for like a Blink attack, counterattack once he's going to have defended the initial Oracle. And the thing is, does he get a Robo, though? He's up against Has, who opens Oracle. Is there going to be DTs behind it? not going for a robo would be a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah,
so it's
right
still
now.
very difficult.
Yeah, with that Twilight Council on the way behind this for Haas, he obviously has the follow-up intentions. Probe is actually still stuck around here, so GunGFuBanDa can maybe try and get a little bit more information later on, as extra gateways have been added on here for Haas as well.
This is what makes Haas such a strong player, even though he's very, very cheesy. Every time he gets scouted or something spotted, he adjusts so well. Like now he knew that his opponents saw the proxy stargates and that he was going to be ready for an Oracle. So what does he do? He gets a Phoenix, he gets a perfect scout in the main of GunGFuBanDa. He saw that there was a Twilight, 3 gates, he's going to see the robo now. He knows exactly where he's at in the game. And from there, he can react however he wants. You see he's getting his own blink and 3 gates, so he's going to skip the robo.
If by chance that Phoenix could have done more damage to that Mothership core, then that would have been a disaster. But for now, with the Stalkers complementing it, very, very difficult to do that. Going to try and take his natural expansion here. As at the moment, it's 24 workers to 24 workers. Don't really want to go too much more than that. But Haas has extra 3 gates just about to finish up, or 2 just finished up, with a fourth one even, I should say, on the way. So this is a lot of aggression commitment here from Haas.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision to go for the expansion here, but somehow I think he's going to need a scout at some point, GunGFu.
Yeah.
Try and see what he's up against, and when he realized that it's a 4-gate blink all in.
Well, he knows there's no natural nexus down just yet, so because that probe is keeping good tabs on it, which is very important here for GunGFuBanDa. Haas, with his Stalkers moving forward, he has plenty of pylons at the front to warp in, but is he going to have the number of units he needs here? Because GunGFuBanDa has got an Immortal on the way pretty soon.
Oh, GunGFu, he sneaked a probe across the map. He's going to see the 4 gates. This is it. This is the information he needed. If he hadn't done that, he would have needed to send an hallucination across the map, and then he wouldn't have had the Guardian Shield, which he's going to need to fight. So right now, he's going to get the first Immortal out here in a second. As soon as the second Immortal finishes, surely, with the Photon Overcharge as well, GunGFu is going to be in a great position.
Yeah. Next is under threat, but with it finishing up, Photon Overcharge can go on it very, very quickly, keeping his Mothership core towards the back here.
Oh, the Sentry dies.
The Sentry dies after popping Guardian Shield, so no more extra soak on that damage from being done, but the Immortal enters the fray, and that's going to push those Stalkers back.
Yeah, I think Has lost a Stalker here. A little bit of a micro mistake. Definitely needed to save that. Every single unit is very important here.
Second Immortal's almost done, Todd.
Yeah.
Is this going to be doable?
It's still doable, but he needs to fight now. He needs to get a really good fight. And rather than blinking forward and sniping the Immortal, he blinked back at first. He's still gonna get it. But I mean, there's enough Stalkers left over for GunGFu. I think this is looking great for him.
Yeah, as long as he keeps that going. He still has an energy for another Photon Overcharge, so that is going to easily help this out. Extra Sentry is actually being warped in here for Haas to try and cordon off this area, but he saw this already to GunGFuBanDa with the positioning of the Oracle. One Stalker gets evaporated. The firepower of that Immortal, and he actually blinks forwards aggressively into this. Why on earth not? He's going to divide and conquer very easily. Just bring the fight to Haas, and then just blink on back, making sure that he can keep the Immortal alive, because the second one popping means almost lights out for this army unless Haas gets a brilliant engage.
Yeah, I think GunGFuBanDa right now, he knows that there's most likely no expansion nearby Haas, and that he's completely all in, so you don't need to chase, you don't need to overextend, you can just wait at home. Cute little move here with the Immortal up the ramp. At this point, Haas is basically just going to wait until the Photon Overcharge expires to finally go for it, but I don't think he has the amount. He has enough Stalkers to snipe on these Immortals and take out this army. It's just a lot of units here for GunGFuBanDa, who actually kind of desperately need a pylon to warp in down his ramp. But,
yeah.
I mean, he has so much anyway.
It's being added on down towards the natural behind the Nexus, and once again, going to try and push on in. That Immortal at the back is only hitting Zealots to start things off. He also picks it up, so he's going to try and focus that down, but the other one is actually preoccupied here. But still, Stalker-wise, I think the advantage is vastly in favor here of GunGFuBanDa with that Immortal moving towards the front again. He tries to pick it up again, though, and can he do this? He's actually evened up the Stalker numbers quite well here as Haas, but once the Immortal drops, there's not much he can do with it.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he forgot about the Phoenix like this the entire game. Imagine, he might have been able to break GunGFuBanDa if he brought it earlier. There's no transition. That's the funny thing. Like, everybody knows that there's no transition out of it for Haas. He either wins here or he loses here.
He needs to get on top of that Immortal, but his Stalkers are so low at the moment here. Obviously, all of the Stalkers on either side have taken quite a beating, but again, an aggressive blink forwards. Photon Overcharge is also doing quite a bit of damage to these Stalkers, and Haas is really running out of steam now. And he's going to lose the rest of these Stalkers. There you go, GG. Game number 1 goes to GunGFuBanDa. He was expecting this kind of aggression, and yeah, it came along pretty well for him.
Of course he was expecting this kind of aggression, man. He's playing against Haas.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. He loves going for these timings. Honestly, I feel like Has salvaged the situation pretty well, considering, you know, he was going for a proxy target, he got spotted, he's like, well, an Oracle's probably not going to do much, so I'm just going to go for a Phoenix instead, and then behind this, goes for the 4-gate blink because he sees a fairly quick Nexus. The thing is, GunGFu, he's just so good at adjusting, which in PvP is just ridiculously hard because you don't have much information. He was like, well, I'm getting blink, I'm already safe against my opponents, you know, kind of going blink or Stargates. I'm going to be safe against DTs by getting the observers. And in the end, it just works out, you know, everything that he was on point, you know. He maybe moved down the ramp a little bit early and lost his sentry, but other than that, was pretty nicely played by him.
All right, well, that does it for game number 1 here in this first best of 3 series. We're going to go to a short break, and when we're back, it's game number 2 between GunGFuBanDa and Has. right, welcome back to the World Championship Series here for our final day in the round of 32, as we're going to get into the second game between GunGFuBanDa and Has. And GunGFuBanDa was on lockdown, and that's kind of what I expected of him going into these PvPs today. We saw a great series of him against Naniwa, and also, obviously, a few weeks ago in the Meisterschaft here in Germany, we were able to see him do very well against the people likes of, people like Hasuorbs and Zoka there. He's got some really strong PvP.
Yeah, the question with, Has, every time he goes into a match like this, every time he, travels across the world to play against some players who are not from his region, is how well they're going to be they're going to be able to handle his style, basically. You know, his crazy style of proxying stuff everywhere, of always switching from one build to another, or even, you know, one transition. And I have to say, in the first game, that was just perfectly executed here by Kung Fu, who just decided to play it safe. You know, some people, against somebody like Has, they just kind of like lose patience, or they go into the match basically saying, I'm going to try my own luck against him and roll the dice and see what happens. But not GunGFuBanDa. He's just trying to outplay his opponent from the start, and it worked out very nicely in the first game.
All right, let's get into things. All right, and the game number 2 between GunGFuBanDa and Has. And already, I didn't really expect this to come along, but there you go. Actually, of course I did. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is our blue Protoss. Representing Yo Flash Wolves, it is Has. And up to the top left-hand corner, very, very close to the vicinity of Has soon, as our red Protoss representing Planet Key Dynamics, it's GunGFuBanDa.
And Has is going to be doing a proxy here. I think it's going to be the, you know, the one gateway where you get 2 Zealots, and then you go into Stalkers, you go into usually a 3 or 4 gates follow-up, really depends what you're feeling like, basically, which is actually a proxy that GunGFuBanDa used himself in the past. So if he looks for it and finds it, I think he's basically won the game, because he's gonna know how to exactly counter it. But is he gonna look for it? That's the first question here. I don't think you look for it in this place, to be honest. This is really, really far away.
Yeah. Very, very far indeed. So maybe he'll check around his main base, check out his natural, but aside from that, you probably just go across the other side of the map and then start wondering what's really going on.
You know, in one of the seasons that I qualified for WCS in, the final match, I mean, before Challenger, even before Challenger, the actual qualifier, I played GunGFuBanDa, and first map on King Sejong, he did this against me.
Oh.
He did this very build, and he won.
Oh.
So he knows how to do this very well.
Yeah.
And usually when there's a cheese that you're very good at and that you've done many times, you know how to counter it. The thing is, in this case, is he gonna see it or not? He's looking around the natural. Now the question is, does he go across the map? Does he check for it here? He's queued not too far away, but not close enough.
Ooh. No, not close enough, unfortunately. Oh, he actually did a small move down towards the extra ramp, but then decided to cancel that and just go straight across. So first Zealot is on the way. Second Zealot's going to be Corona boosted out, and the Cybernetics core behind all of this is almost complete as well. So there will be a Stalker following this up, and it does get scary from that point.
Yeah, he's gonna need to pull some workers off the gas here. I think GunGFuBanDa started Zealot, get Mothership Core, follow that up with some Stalkers, but starting the Warp Gate as well is going to be very important. Not going to get the surround here, and Has already in a pretty good position here, I think.
Try and keep those probes safe. 3 of them are quite low at the moment. Just 1 hit away from actually dying. He gets himself 1 probe, but this first one that he went for is now regenerating its shields. But here comes the second Zealot now. 1 is already done out for GunGFuBanDa. Gonna have to combat this with probes and the Zealot, as one of them is currently at half health.
Yeah, and one thing we need to keep an eye on is the Warp Gate. And both players started their Warp Gate at about the same time. So Kung Fu, if he's able to, you know, hold on for now, he's gonna be okay. The thing is, Stalker-wise, he's gonna be so far behind Has. Has already has the first one that he's getting. The second one, as soon as it comes out, he's gonna be able to go up that ramp straight very well. Look at this. It's 2 Zealots and 1 Stalker fighting against 1 Zealot and a Mothership Core. Of course, Has is gonna win that. I think GunGFuBanDa is in a lot of trouble here.
Stalker, it popped out in exactly the wrong place it didn't want to be. Those Zealots were right on top of it. Probes had to come up for the fight as well. As he's buying more and more time, the energy is gathering up on that Mothership Core, which will allow him to put an overcharge. And he's actually going to go to combat this first Stalker. He loses himself a Zealot in the process, but now the Mothership Core can combat the Stalker itself, and he manages to save it with the probes. And he's not lost too many.
Yeah.
The second Stalker is out now.
But look at this. Only 1 additional gateway is being made right now for Kung Fu. Oh, he's going to try to get the Stalker. He gets it.
Oh, pylons up the ramp as well here as his Warp Gate is slowly finishing up. But saving these Stalkers and actually keeping the Mothership Core alive is big here for GunGFuBanDa.
But there's going to be 3 gates much faster here for Has. The thing is, Kung Fu, he's delayed that photon overcharge so long that I think there is a good chance here he can win still. With Warp Gate finishing not too long after his opponents, already having 3 Stalkers, he's going to be able to use that photon overcharge, and then behind he's just swapping a lot of Stalkers, match up the number of Has. The worker count's even right now, but Has, I mean, he's still all in.
Sees the pylons, got to be a little bit careful here. Here comes the first warp in for Haas. The Mothership Core has to keep itself alive. Photon Overcharge could go down very soon, but obviously he's waiting for as long as absolutely possible to make sure he doesn't have to throw it down, but he manages to actually kill it off right after the Photon Overcharge has gone down, so this will buy more time here for GunGFu.
Yeah, I think he can even warp into Sentry here at this point and force field the ramp if he needs to. Then snipe those two pylons and be quite a bit ahead with that proxy. Yeah, look, he's gonna do that. Warped into Sentry. Oh, he should have let maybe some units go up.
If these two pylons die, I mean, the one that's over towards the gateway is so far away, but losing that Stalker does hurt these numbers at the moment. Pretty good here for Haas. He manages to get up, losing himself a Stalker in the process, though. 6-6, as there is just that Zealot in tow on Sentry here for GunGFu.
I'm not sure why Haas is getting a second assimilator. I think he's gonna transition. I can't believe that. I thought like his best chance is to try and finish it here, but somehow he says, well, I don't think this is gonna work, and I'm not gonna try and put everything on the line here. Just gonna start the second gas, most likely go for you know, I think a Twilight maybe.
Going to try and kill off as many of these Zealots as possible. He never started another Mothership Core. I think he felt that it was too much of an investment to try and get Photon Overcharge out while these engagements were going on. The Stalker numbers very, very even. GunGFu actually has a Zealot to the top here, and that should be pushing back.
He went for the second gas to get mass Stalkers, I guess. He wanted to have enough gas, so for now it's going to be only Stalkers, and if he can get 2 or 3 more, and Micro's right.
Oh, GunGFu, where was the Zealot going? If that had been at the front, actually whacking away at some of these Stalkers, zoning them out, maybe that would have been a bit better for him. But it was slightly mismicroed there. He's going to get himself another Stalker here. One Zealot extra has been warped in for Haas. So close in unit numbers right now.
Yeah. GunGFu trying to kite as well as he can so that he can snipe that Zealot without being shot at by the Stalkers. And Haas should be doing the same, but he's up that ramp and he cannot really go down it because otherwise getting back up is going to be so difficult. So
4 against 3 Stalkers at the moment. Those are the big numbers. Those are the most important ones. The Zealots are just there for annoyance and nuisance's sake. Now 5 against 4 here.
Look at the unit stab. They have the exact same units pretty much.
And now if he can get on top of the Stalkers, he wants to continue focusing them down. He's got this Stalker advantage, and with that Stalker advantage, he keeps bringing them down. This has been a very, very strong hold here for GunGFuBanDa. Very back and forth, but I think he's managed to do it.
Wow. I thought this might be happening here for the next 30 minutes until they finally mine out, but somehow GunGFu finally ends up holding. Right now he knows that there is a proxy gate around his base that he can move out and kill. And then behind this has already been on 2 gases. He's gonna find himself in the same economical position as GunGFu, and he's going for the Stargate this time.
Likewise, Stargate for GunGFuBanDa.
This is not good for GunGFu to get a later one. The thing is, they're already on 3 gateways each. So he's going to be able to warp in enough Stalkers to defend against whatever air he's facing.
I mean, with GunGFu going for this Stargate at this point, it's almost guaranteed to be Phoenix, right?
Wait.
Surely.
Haas is not going for a Stargate. He's going for a Stargate into a Twilight before the Stargate even finishes. Of course.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be an Oracle into Blink All In.
It looks like it. It looks like it.
And I know it's a long stretch, you know, trying to predict what Haas is doing.
Yeah.
Can end up with you laughing lots.
I guess so. I'm keeping my composure here today, and this gateway has been found. So Haas is going to be shut down. He loses a little bit of that. It's obviously, you know, losing a pylon, losing a gateway at this stage in the game when your opponent's taking an expansion and you're relying on Oracle and then Blink to try and seal the deal. It's very difficult here for Haas, I feel.
Yeah, it's funny how Haas has a probe around his natural, by the way. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, like, oh, what? Really? No! Why is he going Blink up to gates then?
I don't know.
Come on.
But anyway, the Oracle's going to fly on in now, have a little look around. And likewise, Oracle for GunGFuBanDa. He's really trying to catch his opponent off guard here. I thought it was going to be Phoenix, I'll be honest. I thought that, you know, GunGFuBanDa going up against Haas, he's like, well, you know, what's going to be the follow-up from here? Probably an Oracle, right? Maybe I'll go for a Phoenix to shut that down. But no, this is actually kind of cute because he could potentially catch Haas off guard.
He's getting a Forge now.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Why 2 gates in Blink? I don't get it. Maybe he didn't anticipate the 3rd one would die. Like, it just doesn't really make sense. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Okay, like.
I'm having flashbacks, that's for sure. Well, this Oracle's going to come in, but it is going to be well defended. Only 1 probe actually dying off, but GunGFuBanDa is going to keep this alive. He's been normally quite good about his Oracle control and keeping them alive throughout games here in PvP.
Same worker counts still, as both players are going to start saturating the natural. Still I was gonna say still no robo, where is it? And he drops a second Stargate. Oh my god.
Oh
Haz.
my god.
You genius, you!
Oh.
I don't even know what it is for, to be honest. Like, at this point, I'm thinking carriers. Now, honestly, I guess he saw the robo and he's like, well, what's good against a robo and no blink tech? I guess some air units to counter, the Colossus that everybody that's good or likes to play standard in PvP would get.
Yeah.
But
I can only imagine that out of all players playing this game professionally, Haas has a lot of fun when he's playing the game.
he drops down the robo now.
What? All right.
I guess he wants to have some detection.
Wow.
He made the forge like a normal player would do to get the +1.
And now the Oracle sees everything.
Yeah.
Sees everything, getting a few
Yeah, but
probes
there
as
is
well.
Phoenix is out.
Yeah, he's gonna die, of course. He actually activated Vision.
He got some good damage before here. GunGFu is now on 10 walkers ahead.
He activated the Vision as well with his Oracle.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So, GunGFuBanDa with the Twilight Council on the way.
He's probably confused as hell right now. He's like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah, I think so
should
as
I be
well.
getting ready for Kyers or Void Rays or Phoenixes or Oracles?
I mean, what would you do? If you'd seen from Haas's side what he's done so far in this game, what would be your true go-to?
I think just keeping up with the scouting. You
Okay.
see, GunGFu, he has a sentry with 200 energy, so if he just dodges those Phoenixes
Yeah.
and sends hallucinated Phoenixes across the map and can keep on, scouting exactly what Has going for, he can adjust accordingly then. And I think going for Blink here is not a bad idea for GunGFu, except he never started it. He's chrono boosting out the Twilight Council for nothing.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody throw down a Revelation on the main base just to be
Yeah.
able to keep
It's
an eye on
good.
what's going on later. Because if you see tech buildings going down and stuff, then that's cool.
Yeah, there we go with the Blink. He
Yeah.
forgot it earlier, but now finally started it. GunGFu. Look at this. Hallucinated Phoenix. He's gonna try and check the main, but sees nothing happening. And he probably is very worried, man.
I think so.
Even though there's nothing to worry about because Robo Bay was finally made and
It's just a
Has is
normal
transitioning
transition.
into normal. It's funny because Has is transitioning, like so to speak.
Yeah.
He's adjusting his army composition after every hallucinated Phoenix scout. It's like he has a switch.
Right.
Phoenix is double target. He starts Robo units. Next hallucinated Phoenix, he's gonna see Colossus tech. He's gonna restart air units.
Actually,
It's like back and forth.
It's beautiful because now GunGFuBanDa has seen everything for the most part, and he's like, "Whoa, what on earth is going on?" And then behind it, Haas is just playing a normal game-ish with the Robo.
Yeah,
Bay.
look at this.
Oh, he
Hallucinated
sees everything.
Phoenix.
Okay,
He sees the gateways.
so is it Fleet
What-
Beacon
what-
time?
Watch him start some Phoenixes in a second. Nah, actually at this point, I really think he needs to be staying on Colossus tech. And by the look of things, both players right now, they're cutting pro production, so Has
Keeps
probably...
getting caught. Oof, loses Phoenix there. These Stalkers are actually moving out. Haas has to be wary of this. There's 2 Void Rays in production, as he knows.
I told
you. Yeah, that's actually quite a good answer, but I mean, there's so many Stalkers, so many, 21
Yeah.
against this. He hardly has any units. Hardly any at all, does Haas.
The thing is, if he gets some sentries here, yeah, look at this. He's warping in 2 sentries. He's gonna go up to 3 very quickly. It's very hard to go up that ramp on this map against somebody that's standing there and is gonna have the photon overcharge here as well. So if he can buy himself some time, gets enough units, I think Has gonna be in a good position. But right now, this army of GunGFuBanDa is...
Oh,
my
that's a
God.
huge blink forwards. Gets down the first immortal. The second one's going to fall as well. This army for GunGFuBanDa is absolutely huge. The Void Ray at the back is charged up now, and it is going to actually be able to kill things off. Has coming in with his Phoenix, picking up some of these Stalkers, trying to negate some of that damage, but it's still an immortal here, trying to rip apart some of these Stalkers down towards the low ground. Second Void Ray enters the fray now, trying to charge up on this. Haas is trying desperately to hold off against all of these Stalkers, but I think regardless of if he does or not, it's just a great trade here for GunGFuBanDa at the moment. GG. He is able to take the first series 2-0 here. Considering how the games went, I wouldn't have minded the third one, but GunGFuBanDa, he's able to take that very, very strongly. So some really strong defensive play there by him.
Yeah, I have to say that was very impressive here. And, especially for a Protoss player like me that likes to play, kind of standard and safe and just adjust on the fly. This was basically one of the best games that you can think of in terms of doing just that. He scouted everything there was to scout, reacted perfectly, went for the blink, and then behind this, I wonder if he actually, kind of anticipated the possibility of 4 Void Rays after each scouting. He kind of finally picked up on what Has kept on doing, which was doing transitions in his production, and then went for a very strong timing. And the fact that he didn't hesitate and blinked up the ramp really helped him win basically right out. If you had waited for just for a little bit, like I would have, I don't think this would have worked. So very nice timing here and just adjustment in general from GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, really, really good stuff there from him. And as you know, the Des said before, I'm expecting him to do pretty well in this group, considering his Protoss versus Protoss. Obviously, Jaedong is another member here in this group that is quite powerful himself, and we'll see how that unfolds later on in the group. But that's a great start for GunGFuBanDa, looking to really make a name for himself on the international stage. Of course, he did beat was able to go up against some very strong players in the previous frag bite. But here in the WCS, that's where it's really going to matter. We're going to go to the analysis desk now with our winner. It is GunGFuBanDa.
Thank you very much, Colaris. Here we do have a great start for the young 17-year-old Protoss player here. Good start to the day. You seem to be very confident. You're playing well. You're not making mistakes. You've got a lot of support here in the crowd, the consistent cheers over and over and over. This is your first time in Premier League. This is a big moment for you. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm quite happy actually because I was a little bit nervous against Has because the WCS is important for me and yeah.
I mean, how do you prepare or study for someone like Has? I mean, you know his style. What do you do?
Well, in the first game I got so lucky that I scouted the Stargate. I was looking for a probe. I saw the Naga Tower, and then I saw the Stargate, and oh my god, I was so happy that I found it.
So you're not bothered at all by playing on stage here? You're not bothered by everyone cheering for you? You're feeling in good condition?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good.
You're going to advance from tonight's group?
For sure.
Just one or two quick questions about both games. Game number one, you already said it. It's so important that you scout a Stargate. The reason you go for a Twilight Robe on that map is just like it's the most solid, legit style. Like at the start of the day, you look at the three Protoss players. I kind of feel out of the three that you're the most straight up PvP player. Do you look at it like that as well?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the best PvP player here, and yeah, I feel very confident in PvP. And if you go Blink Robo, you're very safe against everything like Stargate, TT, anything else, and yeah.
All right, and game number two, obviously, you know, the proxies, we all kind of thought they were going to come. We didn't know it was going to happen in game two already. There is one key moment I think is always very important when you're trying to hold it as a Protoss, is like, when do I go for a sentry? When do I try to control the ramp? You went for a sentry, but then at a certain point, he still kind of broke it. Did that make you nervous? Because normally if you make one sentry, you want to make more than one, right?
Yeah, after the sentry and he broke the force field, or like he went through, I was very nervous. Like I thought I lost this game, but then my micro works good, and yeah, so I won.
And maybe like a small micro tip for the players at home, because you know PvP in that phase in the game, every single shot matters so much, right? And a few moments, like if you run away a Stalker and try to save it, you have to be damn sure that it actually lives, because if it runs away and still dies, you lose potential damage output. Like, when do you make those calls? Is it just on the fly? Is it instinct?
Yeah, I think it's instinct. Like I was maybe. You saw it, but I made so many moves. Like I ran into his army a little bit, and yeah, it was just bad.
What do you think was the tipping point though for you? Like, what was the moment where you felt like, hey, I'm actually taking control of this battle, despite the fact that he's in my base with two pylons?
I think I just traded better than his army, and I got more and more control because of. His Stalker died more than mine, and yeah.
So you just out-microed him?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much, GunGFuBanDa. Ladies and gentlemen, going to the winners match to fight for a place in Canada. Let's take a look at the bracket. To update you, we do have graphics back online for now, at least, as you can see. So we do have confirmed going up into the winners match. There where we'll see whether he'll compete against the players in our next game coming up. I know you've been waiting a lot for this. It is going to be Elfie versus Jaedong coming up after the break.
I move objects with my mind.